WrestlingEpicenter.com, and we are being joined by our guest for this week, the incomparable Balls Mahoney. Balls, you with us?
Yes, I am. How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Hello.
Hey, all right. Now, Balls, it's been a long time coming. We wanted to have you on a few weeks ago because we were doing a big push for Francine's Legends of the Arena deal. So,
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Hey, that was kind of our fault because we had vacation 1 week, and then we had we were just so overbooked that a lot of things.
Dude, don't worry about it, guys. I mean, James, you know this. I tell you, I'm so far outside the what's going on in the industry nowadays with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
He took precedence over everything. I kind of checked out mentally. Even when I was still working for Vince, as soon as I found out the wife was pregnant, that just changed everything. That's most people don't know this, but the one thing I always wanted to be was a dad. So now I got my little mini me running around, and it's just great.
That's excellent. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have thought that about you. I mean, this is the thing that we've heard the most when we talk about you on this show. They wouldn't expect it, but they call you like a giant teddy bear.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before, too. That's people who I like, I can be a giant asshole, too. Yeah, I guess so, again, it depends. Like the people that I like, people in locker rooms over the years, yeah, I am, and most of the girls will tell you that, too. I'm just kind of like a giant lovable lug. But, that just depends. And when you're in the ring, it's a different story. And I still try, that's one thing I try not to do either, in the ring, is take liberties. And, there's no sense in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I can't, handle myself. I think everybody pretty much knows that. But, yeah, why was the sense of being a dick,
Yep.
I'm trying to be I'm around this industry since I was 12. I'm going to be around till the day I die. So,
Yep. Well, I got to tell you, it's great to have you on the show finally. I mean, we've been doing this 7 years, so it's great to have you on. One of the things I wanted to ask you is how are you doing since leaving the WWE? Because obviously, everybody has their own side of the story whenever they leave the WWE. Either they're really glad to be or they really, wish they were still there.
Actually, honestly, I'm kind of conflicted a little bit. I think I'm pretty sure I left on decent terms, you know what I mean? Compared to how most people end up leaving, and even if they come back or not, I don't have anything bad to say, really, about, the people there in charge. I think I got along good with the McMahons. Everyone says Vince is an asshole, right? We've all heard that, correct?
That's right, yeah.
They said it earlier.
Evil genius, people say, yeah.
Yeah, well, he is, but you got to understand, everyone, if everyone's a real fan or knows much about me, everyone must know, and if they don't know, then they're going to hear that. They're going to hear it now. I'm a Satanist, not like this idiot kid in New York who's saying he's a Satanist that killed somebody, because that's just stupid. That doesn't mean I worship the devil or believe in a dark God, because that's just idiotic, too. I just happen to agree with the philosophy of the actual religion. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. More so than anything else. But that being said, Vince being an asshole, he's my kind of asshole, okay? Any boss, and this is what, I worked for him before. I worked at WWE 91, 92, 93 as a job guy. In the 94, doing jobs. I did the Santa Claus quick thing. This is another chance I had. But let me tell you, man, when your boss is a billionaire, okay, and he goes out into the ring and gets hit in the head with chairs, doesn't put his hands up, gets juice, bloody. Come on, that's my type of guy. He didn't do that. Think about it. Look at all the shit I've done in my career, and still, you got to remember, it's not because, and all right, I'll tell you this now. Paul Lee never once had to say, you have to do this. Paul Lee used to tell me, are you out of your mind? No. I want you to think about that for a second, okay? In the land of the misfit wrestlers, in ECW, in the real ECW, in Extreme Championship Wrestling, Paul Heyman and Tommy Dreamer used to tell me, no, you're insane. No.
Now, what was the move? Was it the flaming table that they said that to, or what was it that they in particular said?
Oh, no, that was a great idea, actually. That was me and Bubba trying to come up with a way to take. I couldn't take 3D. My left shoulder, I kept coming down crooked on my left shoulder. And we were in the state of Michigan, and the night before the TV, I took a power bomb, just a regular power bomb on the thumbtacks. And I'd already done the thing where I'd blown fire at Gertner and Sign Guy. And Bubba goes, and I was like, you know, just put the tacks on the table and do that. And he goes, you know what would be really cool? And I'm like, what? He goes, if you could, like, blow fire on the table and light it. I'm like, why don't you just soak it in lighter fluid and do it, you know? And he goes, yeah, but it's dangerous. And he said it in, I guess, the one-night stand thing or the rise and fall. And he said it. He goes, so what? It's good for the business. And it is good for the business because you're getting dumped in a fire. You know, if you get burned, you're supposed to get burned. You know what I mean? And I got really lucky because I did that every night. I took that bump every night for a good 3 to 4 months. Hey, drunk guys, what's up? Literally every night for 3 or 4 months, and the only time I got burned was the last one I actually took, which was actually 5 minutes away from where I'm sitting right now in Bar A in Belmar on the 4th of July weekend in 110-degree weather. And the reason it got burned is, like, I actually lit the table on fire this time, and I hooked them, and they stopped me, and the table went out. Well, that little plastic covering stuff on the table, right, that was what would get lit up. And then when you land on it, it goes right out. Well, that burned off. So now there's exposed wood. And now they take 2 big things of lighter fluid and soak that fucker up. So now the wood's on fire. So when I hit and rolled off the table, on my left arm, like from where my elbow pad was resting, which is about a quarter of the way up, the upper part of my tricep, my left lat, down to like under my chest level, all the skin stuck to the wood as I rolled off. 3rd-degree burns. Yeah, it's pretty freaking gnarly. And, yeah, that was I screamed, they pinned me, I'm getting water dumped on me, I got my arm hanging out of my side, like, oh, this sucks, I get back to the locker, I'm like, give me pills, somebody, give me something, and like, because everyone knew I was a little hurt, because what I'm saying, back then, if I was hurt, there was something really wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And, Lance Storm came and looked over, he goes, oh my God, because it was like bloody red, some black skin. He goes, all right, everybody cough up, and I'm just sitting there. And this is Lance Storm you're talking about. Lance doesn't do anything, you know. He really doesn't. I'll give Lance that. Lance, as far as I know, never did anything, no drugs, no liquor. You know, I think the guy drank 2 beers. You know what I mean? And he walks over and hands me a bottle of Jack.
I think they used to say he was slightly straighter than the Pope.
Yeah. No, the Pope's more bent than Lance Storm. The Pope's the most crookedest guy in the world. Come on. Come on now. The Vatican's richer than 99% of the countries in the world, and they don't pay taxes. Come on, what the fuck? He's the most crooked, and you're telling me those guys are virgins? My ass, they have hookers. And don't even get me started on the priests and little boys, okay? Because I was a product of one of that shit when I was a little kid.
Oh my
so
God.
anytime I hear a priest, little boy, Anyway. So Lance hands me a bottle of Jack Daniels, and on the way to the ring that day, of course, I used to do a John Belushi deal where I could chug a bottle of Jack, you know?
Right.
Now, except I do it for real. And I did it on the way to the ring that day, plus I had a half bottle of Jack throughout the day. So I'm pretty much bombed, and, you know, my usual painkiller cocktail. Well, now imagine the pain I'm feeling if I'm screaming through all of that, okay? So Lance comes over, he says, hold out your hands, Balls, and I hold that in my right hand. He goes, no, both your hands. So I put both my hands together like I'm taking a big thing of water, like I'm cupping both hands to drink water.
Yeah.
And he dumps probably like 60, 70 pills in my hands. Soma, Oxycontin, Percocet, Valium. He just took a collection from everybody in the locker room. And there's like good 70 pills there. And I went, oh. And do I go, okay, put this in my mouth? No, I just dump every fucking pill in my mouth, take the bottle of Jack, chug, 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 chug.
Oh,
now,
shit.
my ex is outside with my mom. My grandmother was there. And my mom had already slapped Bubba Ray in the face because, of course, you know, Bubba, me, I've known Bubba for years. You know, he knows my mom. And he gave my mom shit. He was pounding me, pounding her in the head and spit on her. My mom reached up and slapped him in the face. Really cool shit, you know. Nothing planned. It just happened. He loved it. You know, my mom still talks about it. So they're all with that. So they're scared. You know, my mom, like, she knows when I'm really hurting. She's scared. My ex is just, oh, my God. So about a half hour later, I come out naked. And, you know, this is during the bar. This is during the day, so people are coming for the Sunday night thing now. There's, you know, a good 100 people out there now. And here I come naked. Start naked, bloody everywhere. I haven't gotten clean. I'm just naked and dancing. Going, I can't feel no pain. And needless to say, didn't go over too well. And then I went to the hospital, and they wrote me a prescription of like this $1,000 cream out. It was like $300-400, which kind of took care of it. I really don't have much scarring, but like everyone has stretch marks, especially fat guys. Well, my stretch marks have like these dimples in them, and they look painted on because that's where the scarring was. So I kind of got lucky there. But yeah, that was the last time I took it. The next time it was going to happen was at the heat wave, and Bubba dropped me on my head, and I couldn't feel my feet, so I wasn't about to try to get up again. So yeah. What else you guys want to know? Ask away.
Where do we go from there?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Good point, man. Well, no, what did they actually say? If they were okay with you going through fire, what the hell did they say no to?
All right. I'll give you an example. I'll be a T-shirt. I just said I was a Satanist, right? Back in the ECW days, I used to wear a T-shirt on the back said "First in Hell." Death metal band name Immolation. Well, I saw the shirt and loved it. In fact, I probably went through 30 of them things. I still love it. I wish I could find another First in Hell shirt. That was like my favorite shirt. It was even in the video game. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. We actually just had Harry Slash on, and he talked a lot about the video game.
Oh, I love Harry Slash, man. So, do you remember when they did the crucifixion angle that Kurt Angle got all pissed off about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the Raven and Sandman, wasn't it?
Raven and Sandman, right. I came up with some where, and this has been done, you can see it like when they do like, the National Geographic Explorer where the guys in the Philippines, they actually get nailed to a cross. Have you ever seen this? You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
It's legit. You know what I'm talking about? Well, I wanted to be crucified, for real, with those surgical clean nails and, done right. And he's like, who the fuck will do it? And I was like, Bubba, you do it. He goes, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, come on, it'll be great, man. I go, you don't get it. You just do one hand, When the second one comes up, you have the cops come out and everything. He's like, you're fucking whack. So I went to Paulie, and Candido's even like, John, come on. I'm like, no, it'd be great. Who the fuck would do that, And, they were like, no. No, it's not happening. You have no idea the heat we got when we did a fake crucifixion. You want me to do it for real? What are you, fucking crazy? What's wrong with you? Shadow, come on.
Oh,
come here, Shadow. My dog's out here. Come here. And, so that's a no. What else was a no? I don't know. Lots of shit. That's just one that stands out in my head. I don't know, man. I'm kind of brain dead now, so... And I haven't slept in 3 days, so. Again, having a kid's great. A lot of work, though.
Oh, yeah. I got one on the way. I got an 8-year-old, and I got one on the way coming in
That's right.
less than a month. So, about a month away. Yeah.
Congratulations, James.
What's that again?
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Congrats. That's good. It's a great thing. And you already have one, so it's life-changing. It really is, Nothing matters anymore except him and winning state championship 3 or 4 times in wrestling and, being a hooker and a stretcher and being able to kill everybody. But
well, I did want to ask you.
My kid's 20 months old, and he goes up for a power bomb better than anybody I've ever seen. He can Frankensteiner me out of it. I'm not kidding you. The kid Frankensteiner me in the ring when I picked him up for the power bomb. He goes, Steiner, and put his legs around my head and fucking arched, so I took it.
That's awesome.
It's sick, but it's awesome. Yeah, honestly, I really don't want my kid in the business. I'd rather him, go to college, have a good life. Not that I'm not going to allow. I will teach him how to work, and I want, because I know Carino's son Colby, was turned into a great worker, and he was working at 13, 14 years old, and how he doesn't want anything to do with the business. Good, smart kid, I mean, it's a great business and it's a great fucking time, but unless you're going to be in the, in the top 5% paid in the industry, there's really, there's no retirement plan. You guys know, I want my kid to have a decent life. I don't want him to be stuck like I am, Wrestling hurt all the time, getting warm, having to take stronger and stronger medicine so you can work and, be a good dad and just function, Screw that, man. I don't want that for him.
Wow. Yeah, man.
Balls, I had a question for you. A lot of we've seen a lot of interviews where people talk a lot about your ECW time, and I think I know everybody's listening is very familiar with your ECW tenure. So I kind of want to ask you about something that I don't think has been asked of you a lot is your WWE tenure. Can you give us your impressions, how you felt about it, particularly the new ECW? I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Okay. I enjoyed the time up at WWE, I was looking forward to it. I started getting back in, when ECW shut down, I got real depressed. So did a lot of us, but I think I took it a lot harder than most. I ballooned up to over 400 pounds. Just got fat, sloppy. That was back when Chris was having his real bad problem with drugs. And me and his brother kind of rescued him from it. And I put him through the John Reckner Rehab Training Center, which was basically either you clean up or I kick your ass daily. And after one beating, that was all he needed. And he cleaned up. And he told me, I got to start lifting and getting back into shape. This is ridiculous. You're being stupid. You can get a run. You know this. Stop being an asshole. So we made a deal. He quit doing that stupid morphine shit he was doing, and I'd get into shape. So started going to the gym every night, and that was when I actually first time I used any kind of those supplement building materials that are currently illegal, and got into great shape phenomenally, and I started taking things really seriously again. And I was looking forward to going to WWE. Like, I remember guys wanting to book me, hey, cut a promo on WWE. I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's okay. No, it's not. I cut enough promos on WWE. I want to go work there, I mean, come on. I mean, if I'm doing all this to get into shape, what the hell am I doing it so I can work 4 times a year for you, or do I want to go work full time, I mean, it's just simple economics. Who's going to pay me more, you or Vince,
Exactly right.
So, when the first one-night stand happened, we didn't get a match. Me and Axel did our little run-out, but the reaction we got was just so insane that they gave us tryouts. I love Axel to death. Me and him have buried the hatchet, but at the time I hated him because, I mean, they were paying us more money for dark matches than some guys were making. Seriously. And they were grooming us huge. After the first night in the Meadowlands, Laurinaitis loved us so much, he just said, welcome to the company, don't fuck up, you're in. And doubled our pay that night. And we were already getting better money than most got for dark matches, and they doubled our pay each. So I just said, Ash, you're good for Maryland, right? Yeah, I'm good. And he wasn't. He flipped out in the locker room. So I was like, fucking that's embarrassing. And then they gave me the opportunity, because it was going to be us against M&M when they had the belts for a 2-segment match. I think it was on Heat, but still, it was for the tag titles, And here we were, our first TV appearance ever on TV, and we're going to work for the tag belts. So they gave me the opportunity to do a single match, and Axel was so emotionally fucked up. I was like, you see how he is right now? He goes, yeah. I'm like, he's going to want to kill me if I do that. I'd rather just sit it out. So not only did we not work again, I didn't work again either, So when the time came, when the new year came, I got the call, hey, we got a Raw coming up, and Meadowlands, we want you to come up, get ready to work. I'm like, yeah, sweet, no problem. So I got there. They showed on the board, it said me and Chavo. And they had us like 8 or 9 minutes, and I was all excited. I'm like, oh, I can get this fucker down, yeah. Then Laurinaitis pulls me aside. He goes, listen, I'm not going to use you. I'm like, oh, man, why? And he goes, I'll be honest with you. He goes, you go out there and do your match. He goes, everybody the rest of the night, any big bump, they're going to start going, EC-Dub, EC-Dub. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. And he goes, well, we want to. Then this is when I first heard that they were serious about bringing the company back. And they go, we want you to be a part of it. We want you to be a big part of it. Are you interested? I'm like, fuck yeah, of course I'm interested. What do you think I got in shape for? And so when the time came to get signed up, sign my contract, they used to be great right away. Then I had that bullshit fail on the drug test, which was bullshit. It's 100% bullshit. And I asked for a hair sample to be taken, and they wouldn't do it. So and there was other things I'm not going to talk about that incurred wrath with me and some of the powers up there, and it culminated in me failing a drug test for a compound that, honestly, if I took it, it wouldn't do a fucking thing to me anyway, okay? The amounts that I was testing positive for that were written prescription for me, shit, my levels were so off the range, you know what I mean? And but I understand. That's what it was written for, okay? Like, I didn't just take drugs to take them. I'm not about that, Right. I agree weed should be legalized. I think everybody should be able to smoke it if they want. That's fine. That's a choice, But believe me, I'm not all about drug use. I just do what I got to do to be a good dad, to function, to cook, to clean, to mow the lawn, go play with my kid, and then go to work. You know what I mean? And with, you're in the industry for, I've been in the industry, I got 2 decades in me now, your body can only take so much. And I don't get fixed. I don't get surgeries. I blow it off. I'm paying for it now, but again, that I'm just explaining to you, So when they tell me for this compound, I flipped out. I said, no, that's bullshit. And they go, well, who gave it to you? I'm like, there was nothing to be given to me. I didn't take it. And I wouldn't take that. If I had nothing to take in that, I wouldn't take it. It won't do anything for me. Tylenol would work better for me than that would. It's ridiculous, you know. But they kept asking me, who gave it to you? Who gave it to you? Like, all right, listen to me. If you want a stooge, you're asking the wrong guy, okay? But you would know if what your scenario is that you're insinuating at is true, you would know who gave me the compound, because I'd walk out of here right now and then go beat the fuck out of them, okay, for lying to me. But no, nobody gave me anything. I'm offended, and I'd like you to take a hair sample so I can prove that compound's never been in my system, which it would have proved there's plenty of other shit in my system from years ago and from, you know, when they said, which would have been, I think, 3 weeks before then. But they said no. They denied me, which was against all my contracts and against the agreement I signed, the drug testing policy agreement, which I can't get into any details with because that's a breach of contract. And I'm probably going to get heat for this, but I don't care right now. So that was the beginning of all the heat. And then I started keeping my nose to the ground, and it was like a couple months later, they started screwing with me. You know, I started getting used wrong. They started chopping me out. Then all of a sudden, Vince saw me in the hallway one night talking to a young woman who was attractive, and the next day I got the strip poker thing. And, you know, things went back and forth for a while. Then I had some more bullshit heat, which then caused me to get squashed out completely. And again, Vince came up with an idea to use me with Kelly. And according to people, it was Vince. And I think Vince was really high on me at one time. I hope he still is, because I got 25 lives, guys. I ain't going nowhere. I'd like to go back. I'm under no illusions, guys. If I'm going to be in this industry, I don't want to just work for independents. I want to go work for the best company. I want to get paid the best amount of money I can. And the only place to do that, if you can't do it at TNA, it's WWE. I'd like to work for TNA too. But right now I know I'm not in shape for it. I'm going to get back into shape. So, anyway.
Didn't you have a tryout for TNA recently?
I did. Well, I didn't go to try. I was just kind of like to see how I was, how professional I was, and I thought it went well. There's no heat there at all. You know, it's just bringing me in the right way at the right time if it's possible. I know that, you know, Terry Keller was really cool to me. I know half the writers up there. You know, Savio Vega and shit, I used to work for Cornetti. I love that guy. He's great, you know.
And you worked for, didn't you also work for Puerto Rico a couple times?
Oh, yeah, I worked everywhere, man. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I worked against Savio, you know. He was like my first ever true program where I was married to someone and worked them every night with Savio Vega back when he was TNT, you know. So, yeah, you know, I know all those guys. They all know I can work, and they just want to know if what they heard is true. Am I more professional now, you know, or am I the same old guy they knew, you know, 6-7 years ago, even, you know, maybe a little shorter, who used to show up with a bottle of rum in one hand, a joint in the other, you know, before I met my wife, you know, a bag of Coke in his pocket, just going, you know, no, like that anymore. No. I met my wife, I cleaned up a lot, and, you know, my kid came, you know, WWE testing policy wasn't even an issue with me at all, so I don't even understand. Oh, shut up!
Who's that?
Oh, okay. That's my dog.
Okay.
Shut up.
I thought it was one of our co-hosts in the background.
No, that was my dog.
Okay, good.
I have a little tiny cockapoo named Shadow who follows me everywhere I go. That's why. Yes, Shadow, you're a good boy.
That's the last dog I'd expect you to have.
What? Yeah, a little black cockapoo. Yeah,
I think you'd have like a Rottweiler or something. But no, you got a cockapoo.
I'm afraid of big dogs. When I was 3 years old, a full-grown German Shepherd locked onto my left arm and almost ripped my arm off. I had reconstructive wiring in the radius and ulna. Yeah, bad. I still have the scars on my left arm from that. I was 3, and it was an ex-canine dog. So when he locked onto me, he wasn't letting go. In fact, the owner of the dog was a police officer in my town at the time, and he had to beat dog completely senseless to make him let go, and then 2 weeks later they had to put him to sleep because he bit the owner. So yeah, I get nervous around big dogs, especially big dogs I don't know. See, shut up! Jesus, you don't listen to me. Who listens to me? I ain't no boss. Stop it. I'm gonna go get Cesar Millan to come here and stick his thumb up your butt. You guys ever see South Park, the episode with what is it? The guy, the spaceman from when the guy they find in the ice. when they had the Steve Irwin guy on there.
Yeah.
The Crocodile Hunter. I'm going to look at this. This is a rare beast over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tackle him, and then I'm going to jam his thumb up his butthole. My God,
is that the one where guys like from 1996 in the episode?
Yeah. And he's in Mephisto's thing. He's got everything set up for 3 years earlier. And he puts on the TV and he says something about like the new president. He goes, he starts breaking shit. Yeah.
And he has the Independence Day poster.
What?
I said he had the Independence Day poster.
Yep. And I just love it because Carmen's running around like, look at this chest. Well, I'm going to tackle him now. And then the Crocodile Hunter shows up. He's really pissed off now. I'm going to get back here and send me thumb up his butthole now. Here we go. I was just watching South Park. They had the Goth Vampire episode, Burn Down Hot Topics. So,
great show.
So what were we talking about?
I don't remember. I think we kind of cut off topic there, but yeah, man. I mean, it is great to talk to you, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your character because obviously Balls is kind of who you are, but is that kind of how that came to just so click? Because obviously it was tailor-made for ECW.
Oh no.
Because I know you were Santa Claus, and I mean there was a lot of things you did.
Balls Mahoney, the original Balls Mahoney character, was a gay, sadomasochistic biker who liked to get beat up by men. And that lasted about 4 or 5 months before I finally had it. So I can't do this. Just let me be myself tonight. Fuck, please. And Rick Rude, who thought I was being wasted, put me in against, rest of soul Anthony, Pitbull Anthony. And no offense to Anthony, because I know he's passed on and everything, but Gary Wolf is a million times the worker that Anthony was.
Yeah.
And that's not said now, please, don't get me wrong. That's not me saying that Gary Wolf's bad. I love Gary's work. In fact, I tackled him in Japan, and I thought we were over fucking gangbusters, and I'd love to do it again. I just knew Anthony Durante was a kind of shit, That was the guy, at least with most people, he could either have a really good match or be terrible,
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I don't mean to talk bad about the dead, but when I die, you guys get 3 or 4 days, take all the shots you fucking want at me. I know I earned them, okay? So, that's fine. You get a week when if I don't know you and I don't love you, you get a week, and then you're fair game. Okay.
Michael Jackson got 12.
Oh, he didn't get shit. Fuck that little kitty molester motherfucker. No, that fucking... All right, I'm going to say the N-word. That fucking nigger piece of shit motherfucker. And I apologize to every black listener out there because I'm not racist. Any other... please don't get me wrong, but that child molester prick, if he wasn't rich, okay, he'd have been in jail. He would have been the king of pop, Michael Jackson. He'd be the king of taking it up the ass, Michael the flaming fag, okay? Fuck him. I hate him. He should have fucking died years ago. He went too fucking easy. He should have died with a fucking 10-foot-long cock up his ass while some other fucking men are doing a boot party on him. Fuck him. Child molested. Fucking, I gotta listen to this music and everyone going, ooh, Michael, fuck you. Sorry. Oh, I hate that fucking guy.
It's kind of like he gets the Martyr Act now, though. Everything he did is now okay because he made a couple good songs.
Bullshit. You know what? What about OJ? It ain't racial shit. What about OJ? OJ most likely killed those people, right? People are still pissed off about that. You know what? The guy went to trial. He was found not guilty. Leave him alone, okay? Seriously.
Yeah.
Leave him the fuck alone. Michael didn't go to fucking trial. He paid those people off, okay? And he paid 2 off that we know about. How many did he pay off to shut the fuck up, okay? I went through this. I know what they're like. He was a fucking molester, okay? Fuck him. Okay? Fuck him. Now, what were we talking about? Sorry, you just got the rage. Oh, yeah, Balls Mahoney. So anyway, Rick Rude says, go out, be yourself, be a heel. I'm like, great. I mean, cool. I went out, and of course, like back then, dude, people weren't popping for me. They weren't doing shit. They kept giving me different entrance music, So I was myself that night. I was out in Pittsburgh, and we had to drive back to Philly. I was in, like, a suburb of Pittsburgh, like a little east of Pittsburgh, towards us, where I'm at. And, fuck got over huge. And Anthony afterwards was like, God, man, I didn't realize you could go like that. Man, what are you doing this dude for? Am I going to need a job, you know? Well, needless to say, by the time, you know, Paulie got to me at the arena the next day, he was like, all right, what do you want to come out to? Let's do this. And they were just getting rid of, Shaw was just, Hack Myers was moving to Florida, and he was getting, you know, they were getting ready to, you know, he was pretty much on his way out. Mm-hmm. So, Dreamer said it would be great to come up with the whole Balls, because, you know, Hack used to do the punch, it would be Shaw, shit. So they put that into me, Balls, nuts, you know?
Yep.
And, so I was like, he's like, you got to cut the balls to the wall. Because actually after Rick Rude told him, and Anthony and Candido and Ray, and everyone was just raving about the match. Plus, I was like, all right, let's check out tonight. Because the first night I was there, I tried to moonsault off the top rope to the floor onto Devin Storm and Bad Crew. And, I said, make sure you don't let my left leg hit the ground, right? Well, all three of them caught my left leg, and I broke the first three toes on my right foot, my first night in the arena, my debut. So, needless to say, Paul was a little asked on me after that, but he knew I fit in, my attitude and everything, you know. So, he goes, what do you want to come out to? I said, Big Balls. He goes, why do you want to come out to that? I'm like, because I can promise you something. He goes, what? I go, I can get over as a babyface. He goes, come on. I go, 6 months. You give me 6 arena shows. I don't need TV. Give me 6 arena shows. I'll have the crowd singing the chorus. No bullshit. Give it to me. Let me do it. Right. 4 months later, I had the crowd on their feet singing that song.
Now, where did obviously Big Balls AC/DC off the? Yeah,
Big Balls AC/DC version. Then then after it got over really well, after the first pay-per-view, okay, when they said we're going to have to do, you know, cover songs, blah blah blah. Well, they did that album, and I heard the band Muscadine. I don't know much about them. But if they're listening, guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. Fuck you. You did such a bad version of that. You guys smoked too much weed. I mean, did you ever hear the version of that in ECW Music Volume 1?
It wasn't as good. No, I do have that album.
So I got so pissed off. I got the sound guy, Randy, the sound tech, who got hooked up in the company in a vice versa place for me because Billy Wiles was one of my students. You know, he used to team with Nova, and he was Bilvis. You remember Bilvis and Wild Bill? Yeah, he was one of my kids. Good workers. You know, that body. You know, he didn't have that body. Hell of a work, great talent, great mind. And Randy was one of his friends, so he had Randy up at the sound job. Well, Randy's uncle was the original drummer for Twisted Sister before they got big. Okay?
We're not talking AJ Pero.
What?
We're not talking AJ Pero here. We're talking.
No. The original drummer for Twisted Sister.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so he got together. He got a guy to come in and play some lead guitar. He did all the other music. They brought me in, and then I sang it. So after that first pay-per-view, that different version, that's me singing the Big Balls.
Really?
And if I had gotten the rights to it, if I had gotten the rights to it, Vince wanted to use it in WWE, but the guy who did the music, not Randy, but his uncle, wanted like a crazy payday and this and that, and I'm like, dude, just fucking sign the rights. Don't you know you're gonna get so much work out of this? This is $3 million publicity, you know? And I had a local band and cut it for me, made a more metal version of it, and by the time I got around to the paperwork when they had broken up, and then they didn't want to reunite. They didn't want nothing to do with it, so the guy who put it together said no. So I was left with that bullshit generic soundless, there's no lyrics, sorry, instrumental, which completely killed me, And I knew it, when we did that White Plains house show, and we still had all the originals with us, right?
Yep.
And I finished they gave me a match with Danny Doring. I love Danny. He's one of my favorite people, and they say go 7. You don't need to go more than 7 or 8. I'm like, oh, come on, let me work with the kid. Because they weren't letting him do shit. They were squashing him, So they're like, well, it's up to you. I'm like, oh, so I did 20 with them, and they were not happy with it. The crowd loved it, I mean, there was a lot of, they were like, there's not a lot of, original fans. It's our fans. I'm like, yeah, right. So they hit my song. Next thing I know, after I went, there's, they sold out the White Plains, about 5,000 people there. Well, about 3,500 of them sang the chorus to Big Balls.
Without anything.
Yeah, without anything. They just went, I got big balls. So I went, whoa, stop. I went, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they did it.
Wow.
The whole chorus. 30 big balls. He's got big balls, and she's got big balls. And I didn't sing. I just pointed and conducted them. And I looked over at Laurinaitis, who came, and I waved, and I said, see? And I think that kind of freaked them out because, here's, 3/4 of a crowd. With no prompting, no signs, no push in that direction. Here they are, unbidden.
And that's
something that I told them about. I think that kind of freaked them out a bit.
So do you think that was a good thing that it freaked them out or a bad thing?
I think it was a bad thing because, honestly, up there, and I've heard this from many guys, and you can see that it's true, I think up there they want to take their talent that nobody's heard of. They get more mileage out of making a superstar. You know what I'm saying? And remember, up there you're not wrestlers, you're not this. You're superstars. Everybody, you're a superstar, and they want you to act like a superstar. You're better than people. And I'm not like, I'm never happened, I never will be, I'm the type of guy who's going to perform for you, and I'll drink a beer with you in the parking lot after.
Yep.
And I still am like that, and I will always be like that, because I know if it wasn't for Vince, I wouldn't have gotten that push. It wasn't for them putting behind me, but if it wasn't for those fans liking me, I don't have a job after Vince. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the most important people to me, besides my wife and family, are the fans, because as soon as they stop giving a shit, I'm done, And it means a lot to me. That's why you hear about, I don't know, you can hear about it. I know, kind of news sometimes when people hear, most people know this. I go to Six Flags once, twice a week. We have the season passes. And I get stopped constantly. And I will stop what I'm doing, talk to fans, sign autographs, paper, I don't care. But for them, I don't have a job, And I love them. I love them all. Even if they don't like me, I love them. Hey, if they don't like me, I'm doing my job as a bad guy, even though I'm not. I'm never really a baby face either. I'm me, So anyway, my wife gets pregnant. I kind of check out mentally. I'm doing the Kelly angle. They're starting to push me with Miz, which is taking off, right? And I know where it's going. It's going to go to Mania. I'm all psyched. I'm going to do WrestleMania. Fuck yeah, it's going to be outdoors. This is the first time in outdoor Mania or something. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so psyched. So I let them know that the wife's going to have a C-section. I need to be home that Monday. I want to know why. I can go to work Tuesday because I didn't want it because, when I first got the news she was pregnant and the baby was Frank, which means he was butt down and curled up in a U. My son can still sit in a Russian split. 20 months old, 32 pounds, and sits in a Russian split. He's flexible as hell. With both feet behind his head, it's great. That's because he was breached, right? So I knew that he wasn't turning, and they had to take him early because if he got any bigger, he wasn't coming out, period, and it could have been dangerous to both of them. So I discussed it with Gail, and I said, look, with the push that's going on, I have to be at work. I can't take 2 to 3 weeks off. And, I can ask them to put me on TV because I was on the TV schedule at that point,
Right.
And even though I was a part of a major angle, they put me on some house shows. And, my wife was pregnant. They were very cool about that. They still are very cool about that. And I can't thank them enough for that. But one of the powers to be, when I said, look, this is coming up. She had a C-section. I go that Monday. They wanted us to go down to Florida and do the green screen shoot. The new intro shoots. The guys are, when they go on Raw, dun, 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 and they show the guys doing the pose. They wanted us to, we're going down to the studio to do that. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to be there Monday. I need off. My wife's coming home from the hospital that day with the baby. It's a C-section. My mom can't get off from work. Her parents can't get off from work. I need to be there for that. Well, Tuesday, I'm like, well, we're in Florida Tuesday. Can't I go to the studio on Tuesday? I'll fly myself down. Don't worry about it. I'll get there. I'm not losing my job. I need my job. I have a kid now,
Mm-hmm.
So I get told, well, I'll think about it. I'm like, no, there's no think about it. Either give me off or fuck you, fire me. I'm taking off or I'm not coming to work again. No, I'm not asking for 2, 3 weeks off. I'm not asking for maternity. I'm just asking to come down the next day. That's all.
Right.
And I ended up getting 2, 3 weeks off anyway. And when I come back to work, they had me and Kelly scheduled against Victoria and Kenny in a rematch in the mixed tag, and they scrapped it at 3:30. And not only did they scrap the match, they scrapped my ankle.
Oh, boy.
And I got upset. I called home. I'm like, I need to quit. If I don't quit, I don't get my notice now, they're going to squash me and they're going to get rid of me. I can tell, and because I know who did it, and I'm not going to say who did it, who was instrumental in it, but I know who it was, and I know he had enough power to get me fired and fuck me if he wanted me. He'd had enough of whatever he thought, so I knew my days are numbered. So about 3 or 4 weeks later, I see my name on the board against no offense, I don't know who it is now, but some guy from OVW, a developmental guy, right? 3-minute TV match, live, him up, with entrances, 3 minutes. I'm getting squashed by someone who's never wrestled before in front of anybody. You know, and I'm like, all right, this isn't like the last time where I was putting over guys that were in angles, you know, and if I put someone over me and looked so good, I got 2 months with the same guy, I'm up, me up. You know what I mean? This was, I'm squashing you, you're out, you know, and I knew it was coming. But my wife was postpartum, and I couldn't do it. You know, all women get postpartum, you know this. Yeah. Well, hers was pretty severe, and she was paranoid about losing my job. Well, when I found out they were letting me go, I went, thank you. And it was over the phone, and it was, I hate to do this. No, don't worry about it. You know, and, yeah, so they let me go. And I was all excited. In fact, I was so excited, I ran into the bathroom, and I come running out. This is 10 minutes after the phone call. I come running out, full blood juice, running down the street saying, I'm free, yay! And then I went to my neighbor, and I did 12 humongous bong hits, because when they stopped doing the marijuana, when they stopped letting us smoke, I said, fuck it, and stopped smoking. I wasn't going to tell them to take money from me. I had a kid coming. I'm not going to, you know, quit. Big fucking deal. No, you just don't do it. You know, and, you know, it was great. I had a blast. It was a great time, you know, and then I made some friends up there that people I didn't know. I rekindled some friendships, you know, but I have a kid now, so my priority isn't watching wrestling or talking to the guys. I just worry about the shit I'm doing, you know. Like I just won the FTW titles company in Long Island. It was originally called Fuck the World. I love it. Fuck the World Wrestling. But now it's Fight the World, you know. Got kids coming to the show, you know.
Yeah.
But I just won the title after a 1.5 year long program with Reefer. And I got more shows with them coming up. I love FTW. I tell you, if any guys on the East Coast are listening, any super fans, you guys want to come check out some good wild shit and a good crew of guys. Okay, I mean, it's the closest thing you're going to get to ECW. We're out in the parking lot, we're drinking, we're doing our thing, having fun. You know, there's, you know, pipes being popped around. It's great. We have a blast. And we bust ass, and the promoter wants us to bust ass. You know, he lets us do our thing. He lets me do my thing. It's great. I love it. FTW. One of my favorite companies to work for. I wrestle for National Wrestling Superstars here in New Jersey a lot. Family-based company. Actually, I have a cage match with Gene Snitsky coming up August 1st. It's going to be pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know.
Good.
I got James getting me some bookings. I guess I'm going to Alabama on Rosh Hashanah, so I don't have to go to the in-laws. No offense, but I can't do. I don't do Christian holidays. How the fuck am I doing Jewish holidays? Come on. You know, I'd rather be working and making money. So I guess I'm going to Alabama then.
Yeah, I think it's West Virginia, but yep, it's
West Virginia. West Alabama, Virginia, whatever the hell I'm going down there. Going down there.
Yep. Working for that'll be good. And if you want book balls, you can check them out at WrestlingBookings.com.
I don't have a computer. I'm Captain Caveman, dude. Come on. I don't have a computer. If I did, I'd be online.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. I'm getting the evil eye from the wife.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you go, man.
No, we're going to Six Flags tomorrow. We got to go pick up Dale's brother.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, man. Anytime you want back on, you're welcome. And this was awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Next time, shit. I was thinking, when I get, I don't have my book in front of me. I wish I had my book. I could give you, like, some dates to plug. The only things I know that are really coming up that are important right now, I got August 1st coming up with NWS, the cage match with Snitsky. It's going to be a wild match. We've done a series of matches over the summer, and this is the culmination of it. Again, the FTW, it's called FTW Wrestling, Fight the World Wrestling. Great company, great guys to work for. Check them out online. I don't know who I'm wrestling the next time, but I'm sure it'll be Reefer, Jay Lover. There's a kid there named Len Oddity. If you guys haven't seen this kid yet, he's pretty damn good. Yeah, for real. In fact, I'm wrestling him in Wisconsin in August, September. I don't know. My buddy Dustin in Wisconsin's running some shows up there, and they got me against Len Oddity in a crazy death match. Believe me, we're going to tear that up. Other than that, I just want to say to my fans out there, anybody who took the time to listen, and if you liked what you heard, I'm glad. If you didn't like what you heard, well, go fuck yourself. I don't care. No, seriously, guys, thanks for letting me live my dream and, keep the faith in me, man. I'm still kind of a young man by industry standards, and shit, if Terry Funk can go as long as he did, I can still put in another 20 years. See, it's all your fault. I tell Terry all the time, Terry, it's your fault I'm still doing this, and it's your fault I'm going to do it because you had those awesome matches in your 50s, and you're still fucking crazy and wanting to do it.
Absolutely.
It's his fault, man.
Absolutely. Terry Funk's one of the greatest, and he's one of our show favorites, and I'll leave you with this line. This came from an interview.
Oh, come on now. Why you got to be talking? Listen here, come on now. You got an old man here who just is so happy to still be part of this industry, because when I was a younger man, I might have been a little bit out of my head. I might have grabbed a chair or two and flung it into the ring. I might have taken an arm drag, run into some barbed wire, wrapped it around my neck, just for the sick pleasure of watching the fans. But I'm an old man now, and I just want to come around and see the boys and have fun and drink some beers. That was that, guys.
He said this on our show, and I'll leave you with this line, because I know what an evil eye can be for my wife. But he said to us in an interview, my co-host at the time was Eric Clancy. He's on the line with us right now. Eric Clancy said he had a fun match at WrestleMania, and Terry, just without missing a beat, said back in just a sincere voice, "Well, it wasn't fun for me because I lost my ass in that match." And he just fell on the floor laughing, and it's become a hysterical running joke for the past 5 years.
Oh, my God. That was a good one.
Okay.
New more words of Iron Sheik. You goddamn jabronis. Wife is calling me from the champion. Say, until next time, jabronis, I shred you, make you tap to camel clutch like fucking jabroni. Hulk Hogan, that motherfucker. All right, guys. Everyone take care. I'm out of here. James, give me a call tomorrow night, all right, buddy? Guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's been Balls Mahoney here on the Interactive Interview. There's no mistaking him. Nobody else like him. There can't possibly be, I don't think, is there?
The thing I love about professional wrestling is that it attracts so many Type A personalities like him.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a Type A personality.
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's like any business that'll produce Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior and Balls Mahoney is cool by my book.
I don't think there's any other industry that would be, I don't know, that could exist with those kind of personalities in it.
I can't think of any other.
World wars begin because of personalities like that.
An asylum could function, I think.
Kim Jong-il might work in the WWE.
Yeah, there you go. He might. Vince would
next week's guest host.
Yeah, well, next week's guest host is much better. Which what a great segue this is.
Yes, we're doing good with the segues this week.
We are. Is Nick still with us?
Nick has gone to work, sorry to say.
So it's the three of us.
It's the three of us. Andres kind of jumped off the line while Balls jumped on.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's end this show with a bang. Let's talk about why don't we all talk about the opening segment, which it had some clues on who's going to win the main event, because we have of course Legacy coming out after Cena and Triple H, and it's going to be a handicap match. So the clues in that match are Legacy's on one side, Triple H and Cena on the other. The clue is Triple H and Cena are on one side, so they're going to win. That was kind of my first hint that Legacy was going to get squashed in the main event. I thought the opening segment was weak. I think John Cena, they don't know what they want him to be. He's joking around about hobbits one week, and it's not funny or endearing or anything. Triple H apparently has never heard of any sort of film because he hasn't heard of Lord of the Rings, because apparently he's still living in high school where he wants to act cool, and then he's not aware of certain things, like a dick. It's and then Orton's talking at 2 words per minute again. It's the same segment we've seen every opening week. It wasn't good 4 weeks ago. It isn't good now. Hunter, you're 40 years old. Nobody cares if you've heard of Lord of the Rings or not. Cena, you're 30 years old, and you're an idiot. And
what did he say about Lord of the Rings? What did he say about Lord of the Rings? I missed it.
He's like, they had this 40-minute segment about you got beat by Seth Green with, oh, God bless him, it's the size of and then Cena, talked like a game show. He's like, hi, I'm Wink Martindale. The word you're searching for is a hobbit. A hobbit, Hunter. He's like, what the hell's a hobbit? What are you, living under a rock, Hunter? You just or living in Stephanie's vag the whole time? I mean, Jesus.
Wow.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, so Seth Green's a hobbit. And then Orton, talks, and they set up their match, and then we go to ZZ Top. How about that, guys?
I like ZZ Top. Don't get me wrong, I like ZZ Top, but Jesus, why on a wrestling show?
I know. I told James, I was talking to him off the air, the segments were awful. They were ridiculously awful, but there was one part that I did laugh at. Santino comes in, and he's not funny anymore, as we talked about. It's like he was funny at one point, then WWE found out he was funny, and then he was no longer funny after that. He's too watered
down. The watered down is the line, yeah.
They tried it. I said the phrase with James the other day. I said, it's like WWE grabs lightning in a bottle, and they're like, hey, let's let it out and play with it a little bit. They put the thing on Santino, which isn't funny, and then they give him the cheap sunglasses, and in the song, they kind of feed it off to him. And Santino says, line, I don't know why I felt the delivery was so funny. It sounded like Mandy Patinkin, Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride, was saying, and he goes, cheap sunglasses! And he says it as though he's surprised yet knows it's coming at the same time. And I laughed really hard at that one part when they say he's like, hey, get to that, and then he goes, cheap sunglasses! And it just was one of the best lines of the show. But that was it. Those segments were awful. Jericho's facial expressions were kind of funny at the one point, but, I mean, I can't imagine Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, I can't wait till Orton gets pinned by him next week. But it's just like...
Yeah, and Shaquille O'Neal, by the way, is a terrible performer. I saw Shazam, and I saw Steel. Terrible.
I've seen Shazam as well, and yes, that is almost... That is a good reason not to watch anything that has to do with basketball when it comes to the movies.
Yeah, well...
That and Michael Jordan's... What was that one with the Looney Tunes?
Space Jam! That was awesome!
That was painful.
No, it wasn't. It had Bill Murray in it.
Bill Murray, yes, that was the only good part of the movie.
Oh, man, I love Bill Murray. Anyway, yeah, so, okay, yeah, well, Shaq's going to suck. We all know that. Except that one Sports Center commercial, and it's not even him being funny, it's just the writing that's funny, when the guy's playing Scrabble with him, and Shaq's, spelled out Shaq-tastic, Shaq, and all this stuff that begins with Shaq, and then the other guy goes, how'd you get so many Q's? And then that's the end of the thing. So it wasn't even Shaq really performing, it was just good writing. But, it was painful. I guess we already talked about the Kendrick thing. I mean, Patrick, you didn't see it, but...
Oh. I don't want to.
I've gotten serve a purpose.
Big Bang Theory now.
What's that again?
I've gotten hooked on Big Bang Theory now, so I kind of don't need Raw to get through my Monday nights.
See, that's the thing that happened to me. See, I was looking, because I was desperate to find something on TV, God damn it, worth watching. Because I couldn't find it. I'm sorry, these cop dramas, some of them are okay, they're fun to watch, whatever, but they're all the same. I'm sorry if everybody out there is offended by this, but they're
not, James. You're acting like you're saying some, hip thing that nobody cares. We all know that. I mean, football's off, so I can't watch that. Heroes isn't on, and that's been going downhill, but hopefully they're picking that up soon.
Family Guy's no longer funny.
Family Guy hasn't been funny for years, but that's another story. The bottom line is, in some cases you gotta watch Raw. Although I'd rather just put in my Netflix because generally a movie I've seen 300 times can be more entertaining and more unpredictable than Raw.
Oh boy. See, I won't go that far. Here's the thing. So I God damn it, I was going to find something worth watching, and Big Bang Theory came on, and it was the kid from Roseanne, which is David from Roseanne. Awesome show. If you haven't seen this show before, if you are a wrestling fan, you by proxy are dorky enough to understand the humor here, and you will find it funny.
All right. The guy who looks like these guys got stock in Big Bang Theory, but
yeah,
now I've heard it's good. My parents watch it. I'm the only show I'll completely dedicate myself to is Lost. But back to the professional wrestling scene. We had a 6-man tag match setting up for our 6-pack challenge match, which, as I like to call it, is, hey, we don't really have a defined storyline for the U.S. title, so let's just throw a bunch of guys in there. That ought to be fun.
There's a defined storyline with the Evan Bourne, Kofi Kingston Big Show thing, but I guess
Evan Bourne wasn't even on the show, and they didn't explain why he wasn't there.
Oh, okay, great.
He was too busy posting on the blogs that Raw is better than it ever was, and all that bullshit. I hate that guy. I'm sorry, he's such a clueless shill for whatever they want him to say. And you know what? I probably would be to a degree too, but for some reason, what he said really pissed me the hell off.
Is it any worse than Batista saying AJ Styles can't work? Batista?
Well, that's you know what? But the thing is, at least I don't know. That's a matter of opinion. Batista would think that because that's totally not the way Batista works.
Well, yeah, clearly. I think one of my favorite moments in an interview we ever did was when we had AJ on, and I think James asked him the question. He's like, so how do you respond to the people that call you Spot Monkey? He's like, well, I would tell Batista, a guy who can't even take a choke slam without getting injured, dude, like that.
I love your AJ accent. I love AJ's Southern dialect. I'm sorry. I will. Oh God. Yeah. No. That's a. I mean, we'll get right back on Raw, but for Batista, who ever since he won that belt, really just stopped caring about working. I
would say after he got hurt in 2005.
Yeah, but he was declining. Once he beat Triple H, he got a little lazy there. And to say somebody who constantly cares about his performance, his craft in AJ, and just understands how the industry is supposed to work is just an insult. But what else do we have on Raw? We had we had the
timeless segment with Chavo Guerrero and Hornswoggle.
Are they still feuding?
Yep.
Yeah, he beat him again.
In a sharp-dressed man match.
That's the best part, though. The best part, though, James, is did you hear Michael call how excited he got when Chavo's pants were coming off? It was like the greatest thing that had ever happened to him. It was like Christmas morning for him. He was like, oh, Chavo's pants are off. Chavo was like, oh man. By the way, I mean this is just going to be petty and non-constructive here, but when I see that son of a bitch smile at me all the time, like we're watching the greatest, like we're watching like Raw in '99 or Nitro in late '97, I just want to punch him in the face. And when he does that stupid little laugh when like something's supposed to be funny, he goes, oh, Hobbit. Oh, I cannot. Those two, when they just watch them next time when they cut to him. They've got these stupid smiles. They'll cut to him these artificial smiles that Vince wants them to put off, so they get these bubbly, happy personalities. They don't buy anything that's going on.
But
it's the worst.
You're missing it, though. That is what they're told to do. You know, Michael Cole, in and of itself, might not be a bad guy. You know, King has the ability to be a great announcer, but the fact is, right now, I think it's the same thing as the JR syndrome. If you give them something to get excited about, their performance and what they can do will come out. But with the stuff they're getting,
been great.
What's that? Yeah, JR has been great.
You
got to give JR.
I think we've been more than fair to JR. Like when he's been bad lately, we've been on him on this show, but he's been great. But honestly, if you're on SmackDown, I think you're going to be more excited about the product.
Oh, he loves Morrison. It's obvious. Like he's as high on Morrison as we are.
He likes Funk. I think he likes Hardy's in-ring ability and the fact that
you can't not get excited about Hardy though because the crowd is so into him. You can't.
I know, and it's legit pop. It's not like a Triple H or a Cena pop where they're the guys on top. You've invested all this, like they've pushed them so long, so you fear them. It's legit. They like him, and I've never been a big Jeff Hardy fan, but you can't deny the fact that the guy is just. It sucks that he's leaving. I mean, I guess we don't know that he's leaving, but it sucks.
I have it on pretty good authority. He might be calling it a day soon. And from what I understand, he loves wrestling, but he doesn't want this to be his life. And unfortunately, the guy who loves wrestling and wants it to be his life is his brother, who never will reach the heights that Jeff will.
Well, unfortunately, his brother doesn't love the gym as much as he loves wrestling, I guess, because that guy is just. And I can't remember who it was. I was talking to my friend about it. He's like, he's injured. He can't work out as much. I'm like, oh, that physique was as horrible as it was before he was injured. And to me, I'm not saying you have to be the most ripped guy, but to me, your commitment in the gym shows me, because we can't see how much you train or look at videotape. We can't see that. We hear about it, but if you're in the gym, it shows you've got dedication to your craft. I mean, it's one aspect of it, but it's a physical thing that we can see. I'll be honest, I don't see it with Matt. I haven't seen it since about 2005.
They had their big chance with him when they brought him back for the Edge and Lita angle, and they blew it, and I think his window of opportunity closed after that.
Remember when Rob Conway beat him? Just look at me.
I like that.
Yeah, look at my mesh shorts. Gonna get me over. And what else do we have? I mean, we had the Lawler segment.
They had the roll up with the girls where they both kicking the rope and nobody called it.
James and I think talked after this show. We were just talking, and it's funny because James is always talking about how they don't call moves. I watched. They don't call moves. I almost sound like I was going to say, no, James is wrong. No, they do not call moves beyond like the names that they give them.
But it's not a WWE. I'm going to be defending WWE here because it's not just a WWE problem. It's a problem all around. The TNA does it too. Don West, I don't expect to call the moves. Tenay, I do, and he doesn't. There's nobody right now is calling the basics. That's why I think this would be a perfect opportunity for a company.
But then if you watch Ring of Honor, it doesn't matter because they're putting you to sleep anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Wait,
I don't know.
Announcers or wrestlers?
The announcers, they're terrible.
Okay.
They sound like they...
I'll agree with you on the announcers being shite. But I think
the wrestlers are fine. The announcers are just fucking horrible. I don't even know their names, but they're...
I want to find the BVOW announcer because I love his name, and I want to make him the announcer for Raw. And I want to make it... That's it. That's Johnny Cockrinkle. I want him to be the announcer for Raw.
They're PG now, James. They can't do that.
Okay.
So
but that's the thing they're saying, by the way, that they want Raw to be PG-13. Look, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're doing fart jokes or if you're doing sex jokes. If the jokes aren't funny on a wrestling show, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because let me think of an example here. Finding Nemo, Departed, both great movies. Finding Nemo's G, Departed R's. Departed is extremely violent. Finding Nemo is not violent at all. They're both great movies. One's R, one's G. There's
also proves every time they release a movie that it doesn't matter what the content is, as long as the writing is good and as long as...
Exactly. It doesn't matter what the rating is. If you want to do PG, you can do it well. If you want to do R, you can do it well. We do get caught up on the rating, and I think it's Vince's excuse to write stuff that morons can only understand. But, I mean, that's a lame excuse for that.
All right.
But,
I know you're not a fan of the movies.
Things, and I put this over on the show before, but if you look at the build-up for WrestleMania 4, which, the Hogan-Andre rematch and DiBiase stealing the title and Savage's, eventual rise to the top and everything like that, that was great shit, but that was PG, pretty much. Everybody could understand what was going on there.
That entire era was PG. I mean, there was very little that was risque. In fact, the most risque thing I think that they did up until at least, maybe 93 was Elizabeth taking off her skirt and having red panties on. I mean, that was about the most risque that they got. Can you honestly think of anything more risque than that?
No.
I mean, not really, no.
I mean, you know what? We're probably never going to go back to that. We're never going to go back to everything being that cartoonish, that, lovey-dovey. But you don't need to be stupid PG-13 teen humor. It doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't need to. I mean, sometimes it could work. Like, the last example I can give you where that kind of programming actually worked was probably the live sex show with Lita and Edge. And
you know what? Even that fit Edge's character really well. I mean, that's what he was. Is this this out of control, degenerate rock star guy, and that's like what that was. It wasn't like the Mark Henry. Sweet Jesus, you have a penis. Yeah, it was something that was. I mean, you didn't see anything. You didn't it was implied. Yeah, it was for probably 13 and up, but You didn't see anything. It was, and you know, it served his character. So I mean, and that segment worked. It was a big hit. And then of course had him lose the title because we needed to get Hunter in the main event, because if we don't, the universe could explode. But you know, it just needs to be smart writing, whatever it is, and it's not. Just like the main event.
The wrestling business isn't what we wanted it to be, and I think we just, when we watch Raw, I don't have high expectations now. I don't have high expectations. I expect it to be, I expect what I expect, and usually I get it. Even this week, though, even with lower expectations and lower standards, this week did not live up to those expectations.
Holy shit, was it really that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the main event, once again, Orton gets pinned by, of course, John Cena, and, I mean, it's what it is. It's the same show every week, and I always, and I know we got to go.
But the thing is, that could be cool if it was the same show every week that people enjoyed watching.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying it, but it's not. I mean, we complain about it every week.
Well, somebody must enjoy it because they do keep. I mean, even though it's not a rating that they were popping.
The people that are watching Raw right now are the long-standing WWE fans that will watch it no matter what.
They're getting 3.5. That's what they were getting in '97 with WCW as a competition. Yeah, it was probably a little lower, but the fact is they had competition. They've got no competition now. They have nobody else on Monday night presenting a wrestling program, and guess what? WrestleMania hasn't even reached 1 million buys. UFC isn't even promoted hardly in other countries compared to WrestleMania, and that thing surpassed 1 million buys easily. Nobody's buying the pay-per-views, ladies and gentlemen.
You know why that is? Because there's no difference in quality between what you see on Monday night than what you see on the pay-per-view.
Well, there's no emotional, and I talked about this. I wrote a really long rant on the forums about how the WWE and TNA too, they're taking like these cheap, easy routes and like, oh, we'll just make every pay-per-view gimmicked. We'll make them all cage matches, or we'll do an all Hell in a Cell pay-per-view or an all submission pay-per-view. That's not going to work. You have to have good writing with compelling characters and storylines that I can get emotionally invested in, like the Punk Hardy storyline going into Night of Champions. I might order that pay-per-view just to see what happens in that match.
Punk and Hardy they've touched. I mean, the no contact rule is out of the thing there. The fact is, people are invested in the characters. That's all it needs to be. You can give away main event matches on Raw and still have them buy the pay-per-views. It was proven in the last boom period. That can be done. That's not the problem. The problem is they're giving away matches that they say are big but aren't big because in reality, in the world outside Vince's head, nobody pays money to see Triple H. Nobody pays money to see John Cena. People pay money to see Jeff Hardy. I think people eventually will pay money to see CM Punk. If booked right, people will pay money to see Randy Orton. That's the bottom line.
I think if booked right, people will pay money to see anybody, even Triple H.
I agree.
I think believing that Triple H is some kind of a buy-rate card is a fallacy. But I think berating him as somebody who doesn't pop anything. I mean, let me put it this way: the WWE is better off right now.
Here's how he's being booked. He's being booked. This is what it is. It's Triple H fighting villain. That's what it is. This is 1970s booking right here. Triple H, and that's what he wants. He's an NWA guy. He loves that stuff. Guess what? Ain't gonna draw today. A lot of people try to simplify it, and it is. It is two guys fighting. It comes down to that. But you're gonna have to dress it up more. And I don't mean with Donald Trump type stuff. You're gonna need to give us a reason to make us believe that this era is more important than any other era. A lot of people rag on Tony Schiavone for saying this is the greatest show of all time. But you know what? WCW was stepping it up every week. Every week they were trying to put on a show that would make every other show behind it not matter. And that's what you need to do. Why do I watch this week? What has hooked my attention from last week that has dragged me onto this week? That's what they need to do. There is nothing, absolutely nothing beyond Orton being pinned that makes me want to order that pay-per-view. He can be beaten. Well, fine. He's been beaten every week. What have you done on that show that makes me want to follow you next week? It's episodic television. It's not wrestling logic. It is television and dramatic logic. That's all you need.
And in '98 with WWF, what kept a lot of people going in, myself included, was the Austin McMahon feud. Every week they tried to top themselves with some new skit or some new thing that Austin would do to him or some new way that McMahon would get his revenge on Austin. It was the craziest angle in the history of wrestling.
Every show ended with something that said, no, keep the show going. What happens next? You always want the audience to say, what happens next? I'll pull an example right now. Shawn Michaels comes back as the quote-unquote free-thinking commissioner, hits X-Pac in the head of the chair, he joins corporation. Why? Why did that happen? Tell me. Next week they tell you. They present you with a new problem. They will solve it the next week. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what every real television producer in the real television business will tell you how to write a show. Vince McMahon doesn't know that because he's a hick from North Carolina.
Oh, my God. I won't go. I'm not going there. Here's the deal. Quantum Leap, one of my favorite shows of all time when I was a kid. Anybody watch this show?
I remember it. I never watched it.
Scott Bakula jumping through time through the help of Ziggy, a machine, righting the wrongs that happened through time. He would solve the mystery, the whole, not necessarily mystery, but the dilemma, make the wrong become right, and guess what happened? He'd jump right into the next dilemma right at the end of the episode. This way you think, ho, 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 how is he going to get out of this one? And you watch the next week to find out.
Yeah, and that is kind of standalone TV. Obviously, there's a connection between. I've seen Quantum Leap. I mean, it is standalone because the next episode truly doesn't really connect to each other. I mean, wrestling has more in common with 24, with Heroes, with Lost, with things like that, where you need to see last week's episode and you need to keep watching, and they hook you, and that's how they do it. And I agree, that's a good point, James. They do hook you at the end of the last episode and keep you going, and that's what they need to do. But wrestling is not that. Wrestling, Vince McMahon right now. And I know we joke about it being SNL, but he promotes it. He promotes it as the last great variety show. Well, guess what, Vince McMahon? Variety shows in 2009 do not get the ratings that 24 or Lost or any of those shows get. So if you want to be a variety show, be happy with your 3.0s. If you'd like to be a wrestling show and join the rest of us in 2009, then go right ahead and start booking a wrestling show that goes from week to week. Until then, you'll get variety show ratings, and there you go.
Well, here's the deal. I'm going to close out with this, and I'll let Patrick, and then we've got to go because we're actually out of time. Okay. Here's the deal. Here's my take. Right now, we are in a standstill with wrestling, where nobody knows what the next logical step is. MMA has stolen the formula because what they do is they build it. Their entire shows leading into the pay-per-views are infomercials towards the big matches, and you never see those guys really interact all that much until they actually get in the ring and fight. They've stolen the formula of what professional wrestling is. Now, where are we at now? Well, I think people still like the moves of professional wrestling. I think they still like the psychology of an in-ring match. However, when on every week at the main event of SmackDown or Raw or ECW or whatever, if there's a false 2 count and the referee gets pulled out, that's not new anymore. That doesn't mean anything anymore. It's not like, oh, my God, the bad guys are going to steal it. No, it's not, because it happens every week. It doesn't mean anything. Even on Nitro, there was never those epic matches that ended up that they saved for the pay-per-views. And sometimes even the pay-per-views failed. But the bottom line was, I'm just being truthful. The bottom line was all these matches have the same kind of format to where there's nothing happening that makes me believe anything more about a pay-per-view match than a TV match. So
let me ask you.
What we need to get back to, real quick, what we need to get back to in order to make this business click and do more business and be what it needs to be is we're not going to go back to an 80s style wrestling show. I would love it, because if I had my jollies, it would be 1989 right now. But that's not what I'm looking. But that's not what's going to happen. You know, we also can't make it 1999 because that's not going to happen either. What we need to do is we need to find what the niche is of 2009, and we need to go with it. But the bottom line is we're trying to do little bits of both, and it just doesn't work.
Well, let me ask you something, and we talked about this the other day, and I agree with you. What the big story right now that they're promoting on their Raw show is Triple H essentially is the big face winning the title, or Cena. I don't care what happens. What happens, guys, if Cena or Triple H wins the title? What happens?
Nothing.
They win the title, and they defend against heels. That's what happens. So we've seen that in 2007 with John Cena, and we saw it last year with Triple H. That's what happens. There's nothing. It's not like Austin Beating McMahon has defeated the owner of the company, and now the villain for the past 2 years is going away, and we're going in a new direction. It's still defend against heels now. That's what's going to happen. That's what we're leading to. Nobody's excited about that. We've seen it before. It happens often. They need to create a problem a true problem, a conflict, a something like the NWO, something like McMahon's Corporation, something that poses a threat to the company.
And Legacy could have been that, but they've just ejaculated all over them.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to do something like that, put on a solid wrestling show. That's what SmackDown does. I don't have a problem. It's nothing epic. It's just great, solid wrestling and good promos. And I don't mind that. So, there you go.
It's the problem of Raw. The problem of Raw is that Raw believes that because it's the live show, it has to be the variety show. In reality, I think in the modern age, people are turning towards more kind of drama, competitive drama. People like that. Whether people want to admit it or not, whether women want to admit it or not, reality TV is nothing but bullshit sports for women. That's what it is. And I don't care if there's men who like it. If you like reality TV, you're by proxy gay. But this is the problem here. No, seriously. And for some reason, reality TV seems to lend itself to homosexuality. I have no idea. I can't figure out the link there. I'm working on it.
Sensitive Jones. Not offending any possible viewers at all.
I'm trying to draw the conclusion of why reality TV and homosexuality have such a tight link.
There is no link between that. What does that have to do with anything, you moron? You just made a random link because you hate
special children on the bus. And
I have to believe that there's more of a link there than these are two things that I don't necessarily like.
You know, you are going nuts every week. Next week you're going to be like, you know what, the Holocaust was okay. It's going to be something over the top by you. You're going to offend everybody. We're going to have 2 people listening.
And by the way, I didn't mean any offense by that whole retarded strike, but it's true. There needs to. Why not? Here's an idea. We should have a humpback wrestler.
With Festus, and it didn't get over.
Well, how about we do this with? How about we do a humpback wrestler? This way, there's no way nobody can pin him unless they cut a hole in the ring.
Stole that from Jim Hurd.
That would work. It would work.
No, you're a psycho.
Serious?
Let's show.
Why not? Weeble Wobble.
Hey.
Make a Weeble Wobble wrestler. That'd be great.
Let's make. I don't know. My brain hurts. Let's go.
Well, what did you? Real quick before we go, guys. What did you think of Balls Mahoney?
Offensive, but it should get us some good press.
He's a crazy guy.
I like him. You can't. I mean, you can't not like Balls. He's even if you don't agree with what he said, and I don't agree with everything.
I think there's a large minority of people that might be able to not like Balls, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I mean it should be interesting for people to listen to, and isn't that the point?
Lesbians don't like Balls, but that's all an act.
Controversy sells. Controversy creates cash.
That's true. That was the name of the book. We're going way overboard, and we'll have no viewers left by the end. So
I believe that men can be gay, but women are just pretending to be lesbian to impress men, or are too ugly or damaged to get a man.
What the hell are you?
My name's James Walls. This is turned from a wrestling show to my crazy opinions on America. Anyway, so we're way over time.
Yep, we're all way over time. I gotta go, guys. Well, hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll be back next week with more crazy crap.
Sounds good.
This is Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Interactive Wrestling Radio. Oh, Rush.
Featuring the interactive interview.
Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Formerly The Blaze.
The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze rock.
Yo, Maniacs, so what you gonna do when the Blaze of Mania runs wild on you?
On WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And now we shamelessly name drop from our history.
The Wrestling Epicenter would like to apologize for the following.
All right, everybody. Viva la raza. Viva la raza.
Hey, yo.
Hello, ladies.
Hey guys, we had a lovely conversation. First lady, absolutely. Oh, look at me. She's so kooky. Be there.
Where else?
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Oh my God! You win! Love being interactive.
I was not shooting. Yeah. I almost missed my pants. Breaking neck. I got 2 words for you. I've heard a lot about you guys. Let's go. I speak my language. Getting over the shot. Into the many.
No nerves.
That was great. It's going to be cool. Woo! What it's all about. The purest point of view. The living legend. Champion. Arrogant.
You're listening to me.
Instead of statement, I'm talking to you.
So lonely without you.
Yeah.
In the land of extreme.
Testify. Nevermore. Interactive. Interview. I'm not just the best. Interactive. Interview with a plastic
You earned the right.
Nobody. You better keep listening. Thank you very much. Controversy creates cash. Professional wrestling.
Made in the USA, baby.
Memphis wrestling. The guy on fire.
We were sexy.
What a show.
The one and only.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Interactive interview. We took care of the business. This isn't ballet. We are huge with this whole. You're where it's at. You better recognize who's the best. Make sure you tune in each and every week. I'll come out of your computer. Knock down your door and turn it on for you. Or else I'm going to kick your stinking teeth in. And that's the bottom line.
Have a nice day.
It's showtime!
Don't forget to like and subscribe.